Thank you for getting sick last week. Oh, you're welcome.
So what actually gets in the way of good sex life? Because sometimes it's not the lack of attention, it's not even the lack of interest. Sometimes you're just not talking, or you're not touching, or you're too tired to be spontaneous, you're too awkward to say what you really want, you're too bored of dating apps, or too busy managing life to remember intimacy is supposed to feel good, not like admin. So today, we're looking at the apps trying to help with all of that, not as magic fixes, but as tools, a nudge, as a prompt, a way to start a conversation, plan time together, learn something new, flirt a little, or figure out what you actually want. We'll look at what's useful, what's a bit ridiculous, what people are using now, and what is happening in the world of online hookups. I'm Jennifer Zamparelli, and today I'm joined by Shawna Scott, owner of SexSiopa, a lover of a tool, I would say. And we're going to ask the question, can an app actually help your sex life? Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for having me back.
I know it's a bit of a trek for you coming all the way from Galway, but you're so welcome. Shawna, we're going to go through all the different types of apps, different issues people are having out there in their sex and relationship lives. Let's start off easy, shall we? There's an app for communication.
Yeah.
Surely that is a red flag. Surely the problem is the apps and tech that we're not communicating.
So I would kind of disagree.
Okay.
It's not necessarily like the fact that there is an app, because like we live on our phones.
That's what I mean.
We live on our phones,
Yeah.
and like we've just kind of, I think if we scrape back at the technology, there's good and bad. With the apps, it just depends on like how the app is shaped. Is it actually going to be encouraging intimacy and connection and communication? Like you said, like apps can be a tool. It can also be a distraction. So there's good and bad. I'm not going to go like hard one way or the other. It really, really depends.
Because tech is here to stay. So let's embrace it, all the good. We're going to talk about the positives of it. But for people who are out there in a relationship and are thinking, they're listening to this in their car or whatever, and they're thinking, we don't even talk about sex.
Yeah. So there's a number of different apps out there that can help with that. I think especially in the Irish context, as someone who is like currently single and having to deal with Irish communication styles or lack thereof, so to speak, dealing with that for the last 20 years, having a tool that can like help as a prompt to encourage communication, I think is incredibly valuable.
Sorry, we just need to go back on what you said there. I just want to talk about your little comment there about communication. Would you say, in your experience, Irish men are particularly bad?
Oh, it's not just Irish men. Girl, it's all of us. Like,
Irish people in general?
Irish people in general, but not like, I don't want to say that in like a real negative sense. I think there are things that I find frustrating. We don't have to go into like my entire like love life, but there are things that I find incredibly frustrating, and sometimes there's like a lack of directness. I think we like to make a joke of everything and kind of, you know.
That's our go-to.
That's our go-to, is like we kind of like to take the piss, which is fine, which is lovely. I love it. There's a reason why I've been here for 20 years. I love to laugh and I love banter. But I think when it comes down to things like having serious conversations around sex and relationships, I think sometimes when I am dating an Irish person, they're just like, don't know what to do with that. So that can be a little frustrating sometimes, and having a tool available is really helpful.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of apps that I really love. One is OMG Yes, which I know like you've talked about on the show before.
Yes, it's ringing a bell. Can you just remind me what this app does?
So OMG Yes is like, it's not just an app. It's like you access it from your laptop, and then they have like an in-house app. You won't be able to find it on the App Store, so you don't have to go looking for it. But if you go to like omgyes.com, it's you pay a one-time fee. They don't have a subscription service. It's going to sound like an ad for them. I promise you it's not. But I really love that there's no subscription fee, because like, oh my God, the amount of subscriptions I'm signed up to and wish that I wasn't. And it teaches you about female pleasure and how to masturbate.
Oh my God,
how
yes.
to please your female partner or any partner with a V. It's fantastic. They have like real life stories and videos, like interviews of people about their journey, like figuring out how to have an orgasm for the first time. And so it's not just like, here is instruction 1, 2, 3, like step 1, 2, 3. It's like, here are a ton of different techniques.
And do they show that through a video, or do they talk through it?
Yeah, they show it through like animations. They have like people in a video like explaining to you like how to do it. I think there's like over 300 videos on the website. So it's great. It's really, really cool. And then there's a number of other apps that are kind of variations of like yes, no, maybe, where they'll give you a prompt, right? Does XYZ turn you on? Is this a fantasy that you've had? And it'll go through one that I was looking at. It was like softer, more sensual stuff, then slightly more kinky, and then kind of more like harder kink. So what you do is like you and your partner will like link up into the app, and then you go away or just like sit on opposite ends of the couch and do your like yes, no, maybes. And then for everything that you have in common, it'll show you. And all of your maybes that you have in common, they'll show you. So that way it's like, it's fostering and encouraging you to like have the conversations about the yeses and the maybes.
That's a great thing to do with a partner.
It is a great thing. I do wish it would allow you to talk about your no's and why your no's are your no's. So that way you have kind of boundaries around that. There might be something that you previously would have been uncomfortable doing or experimenting with a previous partner for any amount of reasons. But with this partner, it could be a yes or it could be a maybe.
I suppose that's the first step if you want to start talking about sex and being more intimate with your partner, is finding out. It's not just finding out what they like, it's finding out what you like. There's been so many conversations on this podcast where a lot of the problem stems from women predominantly not knowing what they like.
Yes.
There's a lot of that.
Yes, very much so. And I think this kind of fits in nicely with like what I was saying about communication, and like in the Irish context, is because for so long Ireland, and I say we, I say the, like, I don't want to say royal we, the Fenian we.
Well done.
I've been a citizen since 2013, so I can use that. But the communication or lack of communication, I think it's because we were never allowed to have those introspective journeys about what it is that we like.
Pleasure.
And so if you don't know what it is that you like, if you don't know what feels good for yourself, how are you supposed to communicate? Like, and that goes for men, women, non-binary people. Yep. Like we all live in this country.
Absolutely.
And we've all been subjected to the same like cultural context. So I think tools like OMG Yes, especially.
So just a synopsis of that again. So the OMG Yes is a tool to help you figure out
if you're someone with a V, if you're someone with a vulva, or you are madly in love with someone with a vulva, or maybe you're just sleeping with someone with a vulva. OMG Yes is a really incredible tool to give you different ideas, because there's no one size fits all when it comes to pleasure. So like it's going to take more communication with yourself or your partner. But yeah, just having those tools available and showing what the different like options are, the different varieties of pleasure, I think is really,
and even
really
if you
great.
just want to upskill.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I was like, I say this all the time that like what turned me on when I was in my 20s was not the same thing that turned me on in my 30s. It's not the same thing that turns me on now when I'm in my 40s. There might be a little bit of crossover, but like we change so much throughout our lives. So upskilling is so massively important.
What turned me on last week doesn't turn me on this week. Like that's how quickly I change. So
oh my God, totally.
Get on it. So once you've actually started talking about sex, the next problem is finding time to have sex, because everyone says sex should be spontaneous, but real life is not always that sexy. So what's out there for people who are in that situation of we never make time for sex, or we find it so difficult to make time for sex? Is scheduling sex unsexy? I would say no.
No.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
I think we should be having lots of different types of sex, you know?
Yeah.
Spontaneous, scheduled, quick ones.
You said
ones.
it. Exactly. Like like quickies, scheduled, like spontaneous, you know, outdoor.
Outdoor, indoor, whatever
outdoor,
you're into.
Indoor, yeah.
But there are apps out there to help you schedule sex. Am I right?
I'm trying to limit my Google use, but I do admittedly use like a Google Calendar for stuff. I think like any kind of calendar app is great for that. Also, another one that I really love is a new app that was just launched by an Irish gal who like lives over in London. Her whole thing is sustainable fashion. And she made Cutie, QUTI, short for quality time. And I think I'm going off piste here because her whole thing was that she wanted to make a quality time app for people who are like friends, a quality time app for you and your girly pops. But I was like, oh, this would be an incredible use case for like scheduling in sex and intimacy with your partners. I think the way that it works is you send like a quality time request to your friend and be like, hey, we have not hung out in 3 weeks. We need to hang out. And then you find time within your shared calendars to do that and actually like set a thing and stuff, rather than like just texting being like, oh yeah, we should hang out and go to coffee sometime. And then never, never again, like following that up. So I love how personalized it is. I love that it does have this kind of, this like real, like girly aesthetic to it. It's fun.
Just listen to you. I love it, but and I also hate the fact that we've learned nothing over the years. You know, I hate talking about COVID, but I have to say, you know, going through something like that, and we all make a promise to ourselves that we're going to make more time for our friends and family. We're not going to get on that treadmill again. We're not going to be as busy as we were before. And look at us now.
Look at us now.
Apps.
We're back, baby. The boom is back.
Woo! We're talking a lot about communication here on today's episode, and you running a sex shop. Is it very like the initial conversation when people are trying to, if it's their first time coming to you, is that a long process trying to get out what people want or what they need or what they like?
I have had people who have emailed me and said like, I saw an interview with you in a magazine like 6 months to a year previously, and it's taken me this long to get up the courage to like message you. And so like I always feel really honored when people send me an email, because I know I'm kind of like the odd woman out, and that I'm just like I'm not bothered talking about sex. It's something that I have an interest in, and so like I don't have a problem with that. But I do know that for so many people, it does take a lot of courage. And so I do feel like really honored that they would come to me. And then I get to talk about my favorite thing with people who may not have had an orgasm before. And I'm like, I am going to sort you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why these apps are so good, because it does break down those barriers and boundaries, and people can go in and figure out what they want and have that tool.
Yeah.
To help them if they're not used to doing something like that.
100%. Yeah.
And we've talked about, oh my God, yes. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
We have a lot of resources out there now, would you say? Or is there anywhere that we're lacking? I mean, we have the internet that has so much for people to find their tribe and find what they're into. Is there anything that we're missing?
I think we're sort of limited by how a lot of social media is built and who is in charge and like the censorship and everything. I think we're kind of in a bad spot. I mean, I've definitely been seeing it for years in social media. And again, I'm going to go totally like off piste here. But like there's been so much censorship around sex and relationships. Like on Instagram, TikTok is especially bad for censorship. There was a guy that I follow who is a queer influencer, and he posted a video of him and another guy kissing, and that was immediately flagged.
Wow.
Immediately flagged. And he was like, there are straight people like on this app kissing all the time. So what is the difference between me and them? It's literally just because I'm gay.
I never realized that until you said it, but actually this podcast doesn't do well on TikTok.
Really? Yeah, that's probably why. They're incredibly conservative when it comes to anything regarding like sex and sex education. Instagram is a little bit better, like a tiny bit better, but not by much. Like I see people that I follow who work in the industry in various capacities, whether they are educators, shop owners like myself, sex workers, who are just like talking about their day. Like I literally... There's just like so many people who are in the industry that can just be talking about their day. And because of what they do, they're getting censored. And I think that has a massive trickle-down effect. Like you might think like, well, I'm not a sex worker. That doesn't affect me. And it absolutely affects you because it means like you're not getting the level of information that you could be getting because of this fear around sex that's being...
What is the fear?
Man, I don't know.
I know. It's crazy when you think, like, what are they so afraid of?
Yeah.
Well, just when we're in this space talking about content creators, who do you like? Who's out there that we should be following? Is there anybody in particular that you like?
I mean... Grace Alice is my fave. That girl is my ride or die when it comes to sex education. Like you have her on the show all the time. I love her to bits. I also think there's like Dr. Eric Sprankle in the States. There's tons of people out there. But if you want like an Irish person, like Grace is doing incredible work. And I think she announced recently that she's going to pause taking one-on-one clients so she can go out there and do more like public engagement with Irish people. So I really, really love that for her. And like
she can't do it on TikTok.
She can't do it on TikTok, but you know, like she can do live events. She can do more stuff on Instagram. She has grown her Instagram account like so much in the last couple of years. Like in a way that is just like unfathomable to me as someone with like hardcore ADHD.
Yeah, it's amazing because there's an appetite for it and people want to learn and they want to upskill and they want to be better and they want to look after themselves sexually.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about long distance relationship because I found this quite wild. There's stuff out there for people because I was in a long distance relationship for 4 years and we didn't have any of this. It was 20 years ago. We had to do it all ourselves. So what's out there for people in long distance relationships?
Oh man, it was far from the app controlled sex toys we were reared. Yeah, so like app controlled sex toys have been around for the last like 10, 12 years. And they've started to up their game, obviously, the way like tech has evolved so quickly in the last 10 years, especially since COVID. And there is one brand that I really, really love called Love Ends, who they have like worldwide like app controlled. So you and your long distance partner can have like a little play session with your toys, no matter what combination of toys you have. So if you have 2 vibrators, if you have a vibrator and a stroker, or 2 strokers would be for people with penises, vibrator would be for someone with a vulva. So
what's a stroker? Describe it.
A stroker would be like a vibrating penis toy that you would
put on?
You'd stroke your dick with.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a little like C shape, and it would have like little nubbies on the inside, and then you just like add a bit of lubricant and stroke with it. So it means that either partner on either side of the ocean or the country or whatever can have control of your toy and they can have control of your toy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the other thing that they kind of cornered the market on, which I think is really cool, and this is the first time I had ever heard of this, is you can interact with people who you like strangers. So you can go in and like link up with people in a chat room and or you can have like multiple people that you know. It's not just like a two-way street. You can have like a virtual orgy with a bunch of your friends or like with strangers in a chat room. And I think that's like that's so hot. I love that so much.
Yeah, but kind of concerning in a way that you're losing that human connection.
Yes, but if you're not, like you said, if you're in a long distance relationship, like proximity is going to be an issue. Like phone sex is hot.
Yeah, no, but it is quite difficult for a lot of people.
Yes.
Phone sex.
Yeah.
They find it quite embarrassing. They don't know what to say. It's actually, as we've learned on this podcast, it's a skill that can be learned.
Again, like if you're going to do like any kind of long distance phone sex or like, you know, chatting like in a chat room or whatever, you do have to develop those skills. I'm sorry, people, you are going to have to develop your sexual communication skills for this. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like it is, like it's going to be a learning process. And guess what? You're going to mess up. And sometimes you're going to like look stupid or silly. And that's totally fine. If you're with the right people, you're going to turn that into like a sexy scenario. You can make that hot. It's okay to laugh during sex.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Yes. And it's important as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
yeah.
if it does turn you on, if you think it's hot, what we're talking about, give it a go, you know, as long as it doesn't become obsessive, I suppose, like anything.
Like anything in moderation.
Absolutely, or not. But, you know, I would just fear people losing that human connection. But I suppose it's the same with...
It's hard, though. Like I said, I'm single and, like, living down the country. It's tough, like, getting people in the same room together.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those people who are finding themselves and they don't know what they like. Is there a website that people can go to that they can ask those questions? What's FetLife?
Yeah, for kink specific, like FetLife is a social media site for people who are kinky. Yeah, FetLife's great. Like
it's not on TikTok, I presume. It's
absolutely not on TikTok. Oh my God.
So that would be completely censored on TikTok, something like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, Jen, have you been on FetLife?
No, I haven't actually, but I will after this.
Yeah, no, that would very much be censored. Like,
okay,
yeah, there would be nudity on FetLife.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, yeah, it's a social media site for people who are into kink. And they, like, you set up a profile like you would on any other social media site, but it's not an app. It's like, I mean, you can use it.
It's a hookup site?
No,
No,
it's more like it's just like regular
chatting,
social media.
Communicating, exchanging ideas.
Yeah, you can chat. There's forums. You know, there's like each city would have their own kind of page, so you can like check out like kink events in your area, or if you're going traveling somewhere, you can check out kink events in the city that you're going to. Like it's cool.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what about dating apps? How are they doing? How are they doing right now?
Oh my God, can we talk about the dating apps, Jen?
Yes.
I'm so...
Talk to me.
Okay. So have you seen what's happened on Bumble recently?
I've heard.
Or with Bumble? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Bumble CEO gives this interview to like female Bumble CEO gives interview to a female journalist from Axios and announces in this really bizarre, weird way that sounds more like B2B sales than anything else about how Bumble, this dating app that is supposedly supposed to foster connection, are going to be doing away with like the swipe function that we all know and have a love-hate relationship with. And instead, they're introducing AI. And not only are they introducing AI, they're just like, they're getting rid of the swipe function altogether. So the way that it's going to work is like, you'll have an AI agent that represents you, and then other AI agents that represent other people, and you type in everything that about yourself, and then your AI agent like goes out and like mingles with the other AI agents and comes back with like
Sounds like
your
something from
matches.
The Matrix.
Oh my God. It sounds like something from Black Mirror. It's, I don't know.
Is it like an avatar? Is it like a character you create?
Yeah, but you don't see it. Like it's...
Okay.
Yeah, you just like
You've no control over it?
Well, you fill... I'm sure you fill out like your bio the way you normally would. And then based on what their AI thinks about your bio will match you with other people that they think will match with you.
That's right.
Like that's the gist that I
Sorry, was Bumble, it's USB, was it not giving control to the women? Was that they decide whether they were going to take it further, and now they're taking all the control away from all the people? Yeah. And giving it to the robots.
Well, there was outcry about how that was like sexism, that like only women could like chat. They had to initiate.
That's right.
And so they did away with that function. So now like if you match with someone, anyone can start the chat because of men's outcry.
I wonder, did she explain the logic behind that? Is it, I mean, I wouldn't say it's cheaper as a business.
I think it's just the AI-ification of like everything on the internet and literally just another avenue for like companies to shove AI down our throats.
And sell us stuff we don't want.
And sell us, like nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. There's been massive pushback and just like I've not seen a single video about this particular like instance where or interview that was positive. Everyone was like, you're literally taking the human out of something that is supposed to be integrally human. Yeah, it's really, really bad. And the fact that it was rolled out in such a way that was like, it felt like a AI slop video. I know that it wasn't, but it felt like an AI slop video that was like, and now in Q4, we're going to be doing away with the swipe. But it's interesting the way that they posed it, because you have the CEO, who's a woman, and they had her dressed in like a pink suit talking to a female journalist. So they know that they have to get women on board for this. And so the visual of it is very feminine, but everything that they're saying just comes across as like not robotic.
Yeah.
So they know that they have to get women on board for this, but it's just, it's coming across real bad.
So Bumble is gone.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Has it started?
I don't know.
They're just future planning. This is the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
What was Madonna doing on Grindr? What you doing on Grindr?
Madonna, what are you doing on Grindr?
What are you doing on Grindr, Madonna?
So the Grindr thing was really interesting and horrifying. One day, everyone just opened up their Grindr app and like without any prompting, there was just a video of Madonna saying, "Hi, Grindr, it's mother." And so like...
I don't even think about my mother right now, but thank you, Madonna, for that. Wow. So she just infiltrated Grindr.
I mean, she has an upcoming album that she is promoting, but not only... It's not just a regular ad campaign. Some people might be on the down low. Some people might be in the closet and not want the people around them knowing. You might be out in public with your friends having a pint, and Madonna will just show up and be like, "Hello, Grindr." You don't really want that. It's discretion is kind of the name of the game when it comes to like hookup apps, right?
Yeah.
So then like...
However...
Go on. Go on.
Is this the typical getting annoyed on behalf of people who aren't actually annoyed? I mean, I wonder how the gays feel about Madonna.
Gays, write in.
I need to know how the gays feel.
How mad at Madonna are you right now?
You're absolutely right. People on the down low would be annoyed.
I would be mad about that, because I don't want to be pushing my cart around in Tesco and like Madonna popping up and being like, "Hey, Grindr." Like, doesn't matter if you're Like, whatever sexuality you are,
Yeah.
that's annoying. It's like, do you remember back in the day when U2 put their album on the iPod, that album that nobody wanted?
Yeah. And I'm a huge U2 fan, but still I was annoyed.
Well, right, because you weren't given a choice. It
Yeah.
was just there and you couldn't get rid of it. I still have that iPod somewhere with that godforsaken album on it.
Yeah.
Like we could never get rid of. And I think it's kind of like that.
It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? This whole conversation, all I'm thinking of is, my God, choice is being taken away from us.
Yes.
Little by little on the apps, on these websites. So you need to be very careful of where you're spending your time, who you're doing it with, who you're giving your subscription to,
Yeah.
and who you're following.
Yeah. So much of our existence is online, and there are only a handful of companies who wield like so much power, whether that is through like AI, forcing AI into every aspect of our existence, or whether it is like through censorship and like not allowing us to see things or engage in things that might actually help us grow as people, that might actually help us learn how to communicate and learn how to upskill. And it's we're in dark times.
We're in dark times. And on that positive note, have a great day. No, but just really quickly on the apps that you mentioned, at the moment, let's say they're doing really good work and their intentions are good and they will help you be better communicators.
Yeah.
But just be aware that these are tools to assist and not to take over.
Yes, 100%. So like my top app recommendations, just to like close this out. Cutie, the quality time app, so you can schedule in your intimacy time. Like your Google Calendar or whatever, like calendar app, the OMG Yes, or any kind of like yes, no, maybe app, I think are really good. And then also, we didn't have time to talk about it, but Meat Market is going to be a Grindr competitor. And they're really great because they genuinely want to like encourage intimacy, and they have set it up. Their business model includes funding for IRL queer club nights and like charities and things. So they want people to meet up, they want people to hook up, but they also want people to experience their local scenes in their cities. They want people to meet in real life as well. And I think that's so lovely. So Meat Market, MEET Market, /cutie, QUTI, /OMG Yes.
Thank you for ending on a positive and restoring our faith in humanity.
There's good humans out there.
Exactly.
The system is fucked, but there are good humans out there.
System is fucked, but there's good people out there. Thanks, Shawna.
Thank you.